I don't. I think my. Oh, hey, gang. How's everybody? Dad, your friends are here. Sorry. At least I can safely say, with some degree of certainty, that Jeff sounds worse than I do today. Kathleen, you were totally not flying in, at the 11th hour. What? I said you're not flying in at the 11th hour. You're here with time to spare.
And Kathleen.
And I think Father Ryan is somewhere.
I've tried raising it twice.
Oh.
Do you want us to record the 30 minutes leading up to?
Oh, we can. Yeah, sure. And see if we want to do that, and then you can just tack it to the end of the podcast, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Let's do it. Hey, kids, let's do it. If you want, you can record the video so that we have an audio backup just in the event of, Hi, do you have a pick of the week? Okay. Okay. I have my pick of the week. Very apocalyptic sounding. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if you control that or not.
Oh, you know what? I think that's one thing I don't have control of on my phone. Yet. Well, there's no Ethernet going to it, so I can't. Awesome. Oh, you know what? I don't have my iPad. Hey, Katie, would you go into the filing cabinet in the copy room and get my iPad? For reals, because I do need that. No. In the the junk room. I mean the production suite. In the video production suite. If you turn right, top drawer of the filing cabinet.
My apologies.
Appreciate it.
Oh, no apologies needed.
Well, that's what you think.
But we'll accept them anyway.
That's your opinion.
Oh, wait a minute.
I don't know where that's
Thank
even
you.
from, but it's funny.
Oh, dear.
What's with all the gigglies in there?
Oh, we have women laughing.
Are there teenage
Women
girls
laughing,
there?
really
No, it's not
smiling.
teenage girls.
No, they're not. They're not giggly.
I'm a woman, not a girl.
You giggle like a girl.
W-O-M-A-L.
Ladies of sunlight.
Tread lightly, my friend. Tread lightly.
Yeah.
I really don't have anything to fear of you. I'm far away.
I was gonna say, don't give Father Ryan any reason to one up you, because he will.
I've got nothing to fear. I mean, I'm already exhausted, and I don't think you're going to drive 3.5 hours to kick me in the rear.
Don't poke.
You know what's really funny is
the
I
bear.
think this may actually be the Insomniac version of Catholic Underground, because
Yeah.
we are all sleep deprived.
Yes.
Do you remember my first Easter at the Abbey when I was the extraordinary minister and had to consume the entire giant mega Stanley Cup?
I remember it.
That happened today. I
Oh,
had to
yeah?
sleep off a massive hangover after Mass.
Yeah, accidental
I mean,
qualities,
not
my
a little one
friends.
either. The guy overfilled the chalices and nobody showed up. Nobody showed up to be the minister. So I had 2 full giant ancillary chalices. It was
So you were both the ordinary and the extraordinary minister.
I was extraordinarily ministered to because I was out. I mean, I was wobbly. I couldn't feel my face. I came back up and slept for 2.5 hours. It was bad. And I
You
still
know
have a
what?
hangover.
You parishioners are so good.
You're so great. Well, then after Mass, I was kind of already getting a stagger, and we've got the cheerleaders there selling tickets to the steak supper fundraiser. So I'm trying to high five them and almost missing. And I'm thankful it's hot outside because my face is bright berry red. I'm trying
Kathleen,
desperately not
keep
to
him
look
talking.
wildly
Okay,
drunk.
I need it too, because mine not working either.
No worky.
The internet said.
Why you know lie?
Why you no lie? You lie, Crystal Joe?
You don't like Crystal Jail? Why you don't lie?
Why you not have boyfriend?
Got boyfriend?
Why you not have boyfriend?
I know you have boyfriend.
You're like model, cheerleader.
Why you no lying? Crito jail.
No lie. Oh.
Why you no lie, Jeff? Crito jail. We put in your big toe.
What are you talking about? That's
Can we get some crystal gel for Jeff's big toe? We're gonna do a petty, mani petty.
oh.
want your 8 work.
My 8 don't work.
Let's see here.
What's wrong with your 8?
I don't know.
It's not 8. It's eaten.
And whose fault is that?
It's not mine.
Uh huh. Sure.
Whoever says it's not my fault, it's clearly their fault. What's wrong?
Then I'll say it is. It is my fault. Aha!
I'm not buying it.
Go,
So,
go,
I've
go.
got-
Booyah.
Dude, by oh
Thank
yeah.
you, sir.
Apparently,
Having a
episode
great
272 was entitled "Kathleen is a
Magical
Weird
time.
Catholic Televangelist."
What?
The episode title of last week's show was "Kathleen is a Weird Catholic Televangelist."
That's right.
I'm going to
Kind
do
of
that.
fun.
That is correct.
Oh,
That ain't nothing but the truth, with 2 F's.
what's in here? Share.
Going
on like
neon. I've got, for some reason, Neon Lights by What's Her Name stuck in my head.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, like teeny bopper person.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know which one. Which one is that? They're all interchangeable. Is that Selena Gomez?
Yeah, I think so.
Let's just go with that. Let's say it's Selena Gomez.
Demi Lovato.
Is that a separate person?
Well, I think they're from the same Disney genostructure. They were cloned in the same dish.
Pretty
Why?
much.
Okay, wait. Why? Why?
What?
Petri dish, that is.
You didn't lodge your complaint before it went out. there's a
That
statute
complaint has to be
here.
lodged in triplicate.
That's right.
You couldn't even
And
get me with a
submitted.
picture with my eyes open. I look like a doofus.
I like it though.
I'm so glad
didn't
y'all
even see
can
the
just
picture.
laugh it up. Laugh it up.
Yeah, just go over there to that.
That is funny. Yeah,
CatholicUnderground.com thing.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do it.
man.
Hang on, I'm getting a phone call.
Okay, we'll catch that.
Telephone
Hold on.
call?
All right.
Are you watching
Okay.
that?
Someone's got the wrong number.
Oh. Sorry.
It's like that scene of The Big Bang Theory when Wallowitz is being asked to go back into space, and the guy looks at him and goes, "You know how they say you have to have the right stuff? The stuff you have is wrong."
All of it quite wrong.
It's just wrong. Kathleen is the sun. I think it's funny.
Oh, look. Someone is calling right now, calling the station.
Yes,
My
they
hunch
are.
is that is also a wrong number.
It is.
Maybe the same wrong number. It'd be completely wild.
Why don't we just go? I can answer and put them on the air.
That's right. You're live on the air.
You're-
You want to do that?
No,
That
that'd be terrible.
if you'll do it. I'll,
Well, we're not on the radio.
no, okay. Ready?
Is anybody over the air interested in switching to AT&T?
Hello? Hello?
Hello, this is Heather from Sally Mae Department of Education Loan Services.
Wow.
Calling for.
Andrea Franklin.
She's not
We have
here.
important information regarding your Department of Education loans, serviced by Sally
She's
Mae.
dead. Sorry, folks.
Please call us toll free at your earliest convenience at 1-800-722.
So
You know we will. Let's call that. Man, if we were actually a radio program,
Yeah.
you know, other than the radio program that we are, we would
Yeah.
totally call it. But
Hi.
unfortunately, we're not that kind of station.
no, we're not. Hey, let's call
Radio
her.
Shock Jocks.
Father Chris in the morning.
I love it. Oh, there we are.
Yeah.
Where's the sting? You didn't have a sting.
Uh,
Ba-dum-pa.
I don't have those.
Ba-dum-pum.
It's against his
No
religion.
one was baptized. I don't have that thing.
That sting can be used for multiple endings, you know.
Yeah, it's true. I got a whole library.
And besides, how do you know nobody was baptized? You weren't in my church?
Well, that's true. You got me
I
there.
baptized 2 people yesterday. Maybe it's just a delayed sting.
It is, in fact.
I baptized a kid named Jet yesterday.
Jet.
Jet.
That's an awesome name.
Well, it's
Kathleen,
it's
can
airy.
you confirm
I can neither deny nor
that there is a
confirm.
child named Oakley?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Okay.
That sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
That I did hear that somewhere. That I feel like that I heard that in passing.
Yeah.
Hard to say. You never know.
All right. Well. Yeah.
Yes.
Why do I have this Neon Lights song in my head?
Well, probably because you heard it. You know, sometimes in order to get a song out of my head, I have to listen to it all the way through,
Huh.
and then I have to listen to a different song after that.
I don't have time for all that.
Well, no, I'm just saying this is
got a radio show to
this is
do.
my what is it, hair of the dog treatment for getting a song out of your head.
Yeah. Although this is easily the laziest show I've ever put together.
I know
Because the first half, what wrote the first part of me, it wasn't anything to write. You know, it's just we're gonna riff.
because I'm not sure because you didn't research the. Yeah, there you go. You got it
Well, I mean,
right.
what is there to research? You know, what I mean?
Just that, actually. Just that.
Yeah.
Just
What kind of mics do we use? Well,
Yeah.
the kind that
no,
turns
I mean
sound
the
into sound.
the Faith Church story.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you deleted my wait, or did you put it somewhere else?
I did. I just put a quirkier version of the same thing. See, comes
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh.
We don't actually have stories for Jeff and Kathleen here, so if one of y'all wants to take 7 and the other wants to take 9, go for it. Don't ask me to pick it.
We'll just chime in. But
It's like your nose. I don't want to pick it. You decide.
Well, that's wise, actually.
You see how funny
Sometimes
I am?
you have
I'm
to, though.
hysterical.
Another's nose? No, Kathleen. No.
I mean, sometimes if it's a necessity.
Have you ever been in that situation before?
Well, I did work.
This is gross, by the way.
I did work at a daycare.
Yeah.
Oh, so sometimes you have to dislodge for the sake of.
Yes.
Yeah.
For breathing purposes.
That's what you have, those little squeezy, nosy thingies, a big ball on the end. You go bloop, bloop, bloop. That's what that's for.
the nasal turkey baster thing.
Yeah. Suction.
Like if
Suction.
when you become a mama, I'm
nasal
not a mama, but when you become a mama and you don't have one of those on hand,
That's true.
or a daycare worker,
I'm
You-
celibate on purpose. I mean,
Right,
you know,
yeah. I chose this way of life
Ain't nobody got that. I don't-
for a panoply of reasons.
If I wanted to change diapers for a living, I would do it for a living. Doesn't make any sense.
No. Although
Doesn't have to.
nowadays
It's been
with
a long day.
with Craigslist and whatnot, I'm sure that there are professional diaper changers. You know, you just run the background
Well,
check
you know,
and
we've
then
had-
they follow you around. That's all they do.
We've been a lot of people come in asking for money for diapers, and we've been giving them with it a pamphlet for cloth diapers.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
There are very few people interested in switching to cloth diapers.
cloth diapers are not all that they are cracked up to be.
Oh man, that is a maintenance
They
headache.
are
right there.
cheaper than they're cracked up to be.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but it ain't worth it. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
Well, if you're living on welfare and you have no money to eat
I mean
food,
that's really the thing,
Yeah.
right?
you know.
But if you want to be granola and like save the environment,
Yeah.
Right.
good luck to you.
Oh, that's-
because
yeah.
that's just nasty.
Then you just get biodegradable diapers.
well,
That don't work.
my,
You
my
know
parents.
what?
Go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
My nephew, my sister-in-law, her first child, she used those for a while, and it was horrendous.
Mm-hmm.
Like because babies have a whole
Yeah.
different kind
Yeah.
of number 2, you know,
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
just never went away.
There's a purity about it.
I'll tell you what, there.
When I was
mean,
coming up, we were poor. And we were poor. My mom used old T-shirts on me for the first year of my life.
Yeah.
You know.
Oddly enough, he still prefers that.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. But I mean, I think it's one of these you do what you can do, and people just don't have that mentality anymore. So it's very frustrating when
Yeah.
somebody comes in and says, well, yeah, I mean, I don't have any food to feed my kids, and they go, well, you drive a pretty nice car. Well, yeah, I just got new rims on it, but I ran out of money after I put those on there, and you just go, and so I'm just supposed to foot the bill for your Huggies? Yeah, because we can't afford the cheap. We don't want the cheap ones.
Have you ever considered cloth diapers?
Well, that's what you say. Look, you clearly can't afford to live, so try a cloth diaper. I mean, it's incredibly frustrating. Sorry to kill the conversation.
No, that killed it.
We're getting a lot of not sidelining, but dropout.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh yeah.
Well, according to some of the things that I'm looking at here, our internet service provider, I won't say that they swear, but they solemnly assure us that they do not throttle.
Yeah. Cox does not.
All abusive parents say that.
No. Yeah, internet service providers. They are themselves. Anyway, so they solemnly assure us they do not throttle. Although I'm kind of watching our live stream numbers here, and right now through the magic of my telephone, I can actually see what's happening.
On what service?
Well, the Cerebro, the magic brain that does our internet streaming, they have a mobile web app, so I can actually monitor in real time where we are.
The people who are listening on audio, then you can monitor that.
No,
that's not the people watching through YouTube Live, though.
Yes. Yeah, that's the only audio we've got.
Is YouTube Live?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can tell how many people are on YouTube Live.
Well, I can tell what the data is on our stream. I actually have to go to YouTube Live to determine how many people are watching.
Well, one of my picks of the week a few months back, I just checked it here, and Dave told me that we're supposed to be guaranteed 15 down and 5 up.
Correct.
Right now, I'm showing 9.6 down and 3.3 up.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's low.
It's radio. Not terrible. It's not good.
Radio Opt. By the way, if those of you who are interested in a free app that does a lot of cool stuff, Radio Opt, OPT. Check it out.
That is
right now, I've got a ping time of 26 microseconds. I've got 39 down and 21 up.
So it's possible that Skype or YouTube are just having a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
But you see, I'm not on them. I'm just kind of...
No, we're talking about where the...
I see.
Where the dropout is coming from.
Yes, but of course.
Mm-hmm.
Is the dropout that you're experiencing on YouTube, is that what you're saying, Paul?
No, I mean, this is across Skype.
Over
I'm
Skype.
not watching us on YouTube.
That's what I figured.
I can't do it. We're always 2 seconds off, and that's enough to drive a person completely insane.
It is. Remember when we did shows like that?
Yes, I do. You remember we tried to do this with that ridiculous, what is it called? The phone thing, the POTS interface?
Oh, yeah. We had a little box, the JK audio thing.
Yeah,
Those shows are in our archive, and if you're bold enough, you can go back and listen to them.
And they're quite bad.
Boy, oh
because
boy.
At that time it was every topic was just throw to Father Ryan for the exposition. It was bad. Bad days.
So let me tell you something good, Father Ryan. I shared it with them earlier. I went to noon mass. I think it was Wednesday over at Our Lady of Mercy, and on the way out, this lady I've never met before came up to me, and she started, "You're on that? Are you on the radio? You're on that TV show. You're on that TV show with that young priest. That is such an informative show." And this is a 70-something-year-old woman, but
that's our demographic.
I was like, "Thank you very much."
That's right. We're shooting for that.
It was good. It was good. It was nice to hear. I mean, just out of the blue.
You know what I hear all the time from people that are not my parishioners? They go, "I watch you all the time on the Catholic channel. It's just wonderful. You and that girl, what is her name?" You know. I said, "Yeah, Kathleen. Yeah, Kathleen, that's her. She is so much fun. Y'all look like y'all have a good time, and you know it's real." And then that other one, the other guy, what's his name? Jeff. Jeff. He has so many nice things to say. And that other priest, the father, Father Ryan. Yeah, he's up north, right? He's up. Is that where he is? I have this conversation at least once a week, and it usually goes in that order.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know I'm first in your face, Father Ryan.
I'm consciously the turd. I like to think of myself as the turd in the punch bowl on purpose.
Yeah, he does.
I'm the curmudgeon. Well, when we've researched panel shows over the course of the last 9 years, you need a curmudgeon. It makes the show work. So I'm
So-
happy to be him.
I was about to say, so that explains why I'm here. All right. A curmudgeon.
It's amazing, and you wouldn't think it, but it actually helps to have somebody who's light and airy, somebody who is heavy and almost a little tedious, and then a man on the street. And
Yeah.
you know,
People love to
And then a
eavesdrop,
Kathleen.
you know.
And then, yeah, Kathleen is her own. Je ne sais
Yeah, isn't that
Anomaly,
precious?
maybe the word you're looking for.
quoi. Kathleen's not an anomaly.
Anomaly?
No, she's not an
she's
anemone
a youth
either.
minister.
A panopoly.
She's a,
Campus
she's a,
minister.
she's a,
Campus
she's a
minister.
campus. There's a difference.
You mean a youth minister?
Yeah, campus ministers have slightly less fun.
Who ministers to the
Campus
youth?
minister?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
On
true.
purpose. On
Because
purpose.
you
We
have,
have a-
you have
we-
slightly more paperwork.
True that. A lot more rules.
Regulations. Are you going to the March for Life?
I'm running the
campus?
March for Life.
She is the March for Life.
Seems
Yeah,
like an
I'm on.
awful
I'm
big
on
job.
the what you call it.
Go team.
Yeah,
Alpha
For
Team
Baton
MFL.
Rouge?
yeah. It comes out of my. It comes out of my school.
It comes
I'm not
out.
talking about the March for Life in Baton Rouge. I'm talking about the March for Life in D.C.
That's what she's talking about.
Yeah, we on the same page.
You run the March for Life in Washington, D.C. out of Baton Rouge.
No, no.
she
Somehow I
runs-
don't think that's accurate.
Allow me to translate.
Thank
Yes,
you.
I'd
she
appreciate that.
she runs the Baton Rouge and near on state of Louisiana experience of the March for Life that goes to Washington D.C. She
Oh.
coordinates the Louisiana Right to Life. Is that right? Or
Okay.
Louisiana Pro Life or whatever movement to Washington D.C.
Yeah. So the Louisiana March for Life is what we call it.
Oh,
Louisiana Youth
Kathleen,
March for Life.
You are a grace that
The
enlightens.
youth
says William.
March for Life is
Oh,
Fascinating.
A grace that enlightens. You heard that, Father Ryan?
Kathleen is a grace.
No, I
that
didn't. I don't believe in grace that enlightens. She is a grace that.
I got nothing.
You could
I've
just.
got two younger sisters. I could bother you all day long.
She could. I mean, he could. And then they
Could
Yes.
or you do.
As much as I can, I do.
Oh,
I don't have any sound. for that.
Antagonizing is part of the curmudgeon's job, and it's a part I'm very good at.
that's
Yeah.
okay. I have an older brother, so
Yeah, it's like living with a Pomeranian sometimes. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
Yap, yap, yap,
Well,
yap.
just think of any yapping dog in general, and
Yeah.
put my face on it, and think how funny that would be.
Or like the ones that are around your that you grew up with, Father Ryan, the snorting Boston
The Boston
Terriers.
Terriers.
that's like Chunk.
Yeah, kind of like your French bulldog.
Yeah.
My cat does none of these things.
Chunk and
The
I
cat
had
does
a.
pop you on the head a lot.
Did I tell you her latest thing? What my cat likes to do?
Yeah, you were telling me that she climbs up on you.
Well, she'll if I'm sitting at a chair, she'll put her paw. She'll jump up and put her paws on the edge of the chair, and she'll like reach up and paw my leg, just like saying, "Hey, I'm here." And you look down at her, and she jumps down, and she looks up at you like, "What? I totally didn't just do that. That was some specter." I don't know what was that.
Snoring.
I guess. Well, I mean, dead air is what it is.
Yeah.
Are we generally comfortable with the show, Kathleen? Are you comfortable?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
The medicine.
We don't have an open mic somewhere. This isn't like our the
What's
Phantom of the
happening?
Opera, the snoring phantom.
It sounds like Chunk when he
Is-
sleeps.
Is Ed going to try to do B-roll for you, or are we just going to kind of go straight through this and not worry about the B-roll stuff?
I don't know that we have. Well, we don't have any B-roll. We'd actually have to shoot it.
Oh, okay.
And we have one slight problem is that sometimes our cameras, whenever they are taken off of their happy stick, that their equilibrium stick, they don't
Are
always
you
work.
too good for your home?
That's right.
What's wrong with your home?
It prefers to stay where it is. The camera. It's a very fickle creature. Yeah. Actually, I blame HDMI. I think the HDMI is the culprit.
the whole standard.
Yeah.
It's just full of jerks.
Jeff, you really seriously did freak us all out with that. I'm just
What? The snoring?
Oh, because I'm trying
That
to
was
think.
from the sound effects library, so it
I was
wasn't
just
me.
trying to I was like, how is that happening? Does Ed have a microphone that I don't know about? You know.
I see what you were talking. Okay, yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh, be not afraid. This is the Catholic Underground.
Oh heavens, yeah. And I'm going to go back to my corner here.
Before you always.
Did you sing that this weekend too?
God no.
We did a Don't You Be
did.
Scared You. Yeah.
Bro, don't you be scared, you.
I go in front you all the time.
Front you all the time.
Come after
Come
me.
after me.
And we.
Fedodo.
Yeah, you see? That's the Cajun Be Not Afraid. You're welcome, America. All righty. Well,
That there was funny.
Father Ryan, would you like to pray the prayers and we'll go to network?
Rob, I told you. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
Amen.
Lord, thank you so much for the gift of this apostolate, and thank you for all those who support it, all those who listen to it. We pray, Lord, that as we endeavor to explain ourselves this evening and to do the show this evening, that you would grant us your blessing, that you would strengthen us and direct us toward all that is good, and that you would protect us from all harm, that you would protect all of our technology and equipment from harm and from any assault that might cause it to break, fall to pieces, or otherwise fail. And we pray that you would send your blessing upon us in great abundance this evening. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. And we will see you at the top of the hour.
See you from the Catholic Underground.
Next time on Mother Angelica Live Classics. Mother Mary has a sinless nature, and like our Blessed Mother, we must suffer to understand the fullness of Christ. Mother explains that the Feast of the Assumption is an opportunity for us to understand the suffering of our Lord. On the next Mother Angelica Live Classics on EWTN.
This is EWTN Radio.
From the heart.
This is Karen Hornsby with Chesterton's Corner. One of G.K. Chesterton's many fans once sent him a letter stating, "You seem to know everything." His reply, "I know nothing, madam. I am a journalist." This humble giant would barely write about himself in his own autobiography, which I highly recommend reading. In addition, check out Gilbert Magazine, available through the American Chesterton Society. Chesterton on Fairy Tales. Fairy tales are the only true accounts that man has ever given of his destiny. Jack and the Giant Killer is the embodiment of the paradox of courage, the paradox which says, you must defy the thing that is terrifying. Unless you are frightened, you are not brave. And Beauty and the Beast is the embodiment of the paradox of faith, the absolutely necessary and wildly reasonable maxim which says to every mother with a child or to every patriot with a country, you must love the thing first and make it lovable afterwards. For more Chesterton, go to chesterton.org.
Join us for the Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, live from Our Lady of Mercy Parish in Baton Rouge, weekdays at noon and Sunday mornings at 10:30 on Catholic Community Radio 1380 WPYR.
Hi, Charlie Savoy here with Johnny's Pizza House, home of Sweep the Kitchen Pizza. We're proud supporters of Catholic Community Radio. Johnny's Pizza with 2 locations, Baton Rouge 763-9797 and Central 615-8335.
Are you one of the millions of Americans who can't get their day started without a cup of liquid defibrillation? If so, you're not alone. Morning coffee deficiency affects more and more of us each year. Catholic Community Radio may be able to help you get the caffeine you need to live a normal, productive life. Join the Coffee Club, a growing number of folks just like yourself who use their stainless steel dosage tumbler to get just the right amount of coffee to face the day. Don't let morning coffee deficiency keep you in the breakfast nook. Visit CatholicCommunityRadio.com today.
Catholic Community Radio
Catholic radio for your community.
is listener supported.
1380
WPYR Baton Rouge.
This is your station.
Catholic radio for your community. From the Catholic Underground.
Today on the show, how we do what we do because you asked for it. Words from Pope Francis on the Middle East, some new online classes, our picks of the week, and so much more. The Catholic Underground starts now. Alrighty, it is time for the Catholic Underground, your weekly Catholic guide to the digital continent. It's episode number 273. I'm Father Chris Decker. If you are joining us live, you can chat with us at catholicunderground.tv. Joining me this week, we have Father Ryan Humphreys. He's the rector of the Minor Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in historic Natchitoches, Louisiana. Hello, Father.
Hello, world.
Also, Kathleen Lee. She's the campus minister at St. Michael the Archangel High School in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She's also our fully licensed and bonded faith ninja. Hello, Kathleen.
Well, hi.
I like that signature that she's working on.
Yeah, I can't ever get one right.
I think you've got it. No, that's good.
I like that one.
And then everybody knows Jeff Blackwell. He's the technical director of the CU. He's the commandant of the Jeff Star 1 near-Earth orbit satellite. Hello, Jeff.
Howdy ho, neighbor.
Jeff is becoming very famous in the local Catholic television scene.
I don't know that.
Yeah, because everybody says, "Oh, Father, you're on that show with that guy with the voice." Yeah, that's Jeff Blackwell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And of course,
the big guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, with the glasses.
Oh my.
And then the unseen face is Ed this week. Ed is running the video for us in the video feed. So
Godfather Ed Ball.
That's right, Ed the Godfather. Yeah. He is in a way a spiritual godfather to us all in some way. Yes. Catholic Underground, near on a guardian angel. Anyway. Let's get right to it. You have asked, a number of you have asked us on Facebook and on several other ways of getting in touch with us, backchat at catholicunderground.com. How do you do what you do? And boy, oh boy, is that a long story. It really is. And Father, I think we can agree that since 2006, when we started doing this thing called Catholic Underground on the air, we've kind of streamlined a little bit, huh?
Yes, indeed. I mean, back then we had each had a headset, I think from Sennheiser, with a little boom that came down, and we connected via Skype and used a recorder on each end for audio, and we just talked about whatever seemed good. There was no real structure, and there was very, very little real technology.
It wasn't pretty.
And the biggest challenge was, how do I send the audio file to you so that you can add the 3 or 4 sound effects we had created? I mean, that was the big drama. And of course, now it's an entirely different world.
As I recall, what we had to do in the early days of our show is we had to each record our individual audio. So I had to record on my side my voice, and then Father had to record on his side his voice. And then he would send the file to me, which in those days was a rather large file. Like, how do I send that? Now you can send it in a Gmail attachment. And I would then have to put those together, and hopefully they lined up. And there were no errors. And then if there were no errors, we would podcast it. We would send it out for podcast.
And if you'll remember, it was funny. We used to try to figure out ways to sync it up. But because Skype was so unsophisticated at the time, we would try to clap and sync. We would always be off of sync trying to clap. So you'd wind it up and the claps would be a half a second off. Mm-hmm. It was the most delightfully ridiculous thing ever. Yeah. And we did this for like a year.
Yeah. Or 2.
This was our big plan,
What's the matter, guys? Another wheel coming off? Clap if you can't whistle.
Just clap,
Oh.
Yeah. So you might be happy, and our members of the CU here, our undergrounders and our panelists may be happy that they were not with us for those early days. But now we have the capability to do so much more because the technology has actually evolved ahead of us, thankfully. It's fun. We haven't caught up with it. It actually went ahead of us, and we're kind of catching up to it. So first it begins with Google Docs, right, Father?
Yeah, first we create what we call the rundown. And this is a shared document in Google Docs, and it's a private shared document. And starting generally on Monday or Tuesday after the show is over, I start going through my OCD pile of news feeds, and I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of articles every day. And I'll come up with 5 to 10 that really stand out. And sometimes Father Chris will send me some, sometimes Kathleen and Jeff will send some, and then I pick out 5 or 10, and I organize the show into a kind of narrative. So we have a lead topic, and then we have some world/tech stories, and then we have some faith stories.
Right.
And those are arranged into a kind of narrative with a segue in, and then a headline, and then filler points, kind of bullet points to develop the article, and then there are discussion questions.
That's right. And in fact, for those who are in our video chat right now, I'll show you. In fact, we'll bring up the video for those watching. you can actually see that what we're talking about right now is scripted, just to kind of keep us on task. And Father, this has actually been a really kind of a big thing for us. Is that we're actually able to follow what each other are saying. Beforehand, we actually had to just kind of remember where we were going, or we would send, I believe, a text file in the email with the rundown. We would all just kind of go down the rundown that way. But this way, we're actually able to kind of watch things and edit things live. So if we're kind of running over a little bit, Father Ryan can go and strike through a story, so I know not to go to that story or to go to a shorter one. And it really, really does kind of streamline the process. And I think, oddly enough, Google has made our work a little bit easier.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody's got it. Jeff has a copy of the rundown, so he can kind of see what's coming up next, and maybe what mics need to go up, and that sort of thing, or if there's going to be
what effect you're going to to be playing
exactly.
next.
Yeah. And I can only imagine. I don't know, Jeff. You've been in radio for years. How did this happen before Gmail? Did everybody just have to have a script that they were synced up on?
I think it was just called winging it. Rarely, unless it was like a national syndicated program, like if you go back to Casey Kasem's America's Top 40, something like that. All that was scripted, of course. But as far as the day-to-day or even weekly broadcast, it was sort of like, okay, let's talk about this, this, and this, and we know we're going to dedicate so many minutes per segment. And it really wasn't scripted out per se. It was just kind of winging it.
Yeah, and so we do have unscripted moments, as Kathleen can attest.
Most of them are me. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, Kathleen is very rarely on script, and that's a good thing. That's actually kind of why we brought her in, because we can be a little staid, and but Kathleen is good that way. And if you remember,
but we're careful to script by bullet points, so that means that we can still be spontaneous. If there's still an anecdote or a story, there's room for us to move, because we've tried scripting it very, very scripted, and that came off as very flat and boring. Because back when Josh was on the show, it was I read a line, Father Chris read a line, Josh read, and it was just it was terrible.
Ooh.
So this kind of bullet point thing gives us room to move. It gives us room to make it our own language, but it also gives us somewhere to go next, so that we don't have dead air.
Exactly. If we were a librarian podcast, that would have maybe been okay, because I think you have to keep it nice and even, kind of like a flat lining on an EKG machine.
Good times.
I'm thinking public radio.
Yeah, sometimes that's what I think about too. Don't you, Kathleen?
Yeah, it's delightful.
Sometimes I do, isn't it? It's delightful. So as you remember from last week's episode, there is a narrative in place, as Father Ryan said. We have a lead topic, world and text stories, and then faith stories, and Father Ryan kind of picks those stories so that they more or less will dovetail into one another, and he will even help with some of the segues to kind of transition those things. And sometimes I'll augment that. And usually if a segue fails, it's because I messed it up, or I thought I was going to be clever and it didn't work. And then everybody brings their own pick of the week, right?
Yes.
Usually.
Yes. I have one.
Kathleen
Don't
has
look at
one.
me.
Kathleen has one. That's true. Okay, so that's the rundown, we call it, and so we can actually we might do in our show notes, Father, and I'm saying this on the fly. Maybe we can provide through the magic of Google Docs a sample rundown for any of you who might be putting together a podcast of your own. That way,
I think we can do that.
I think that would be a great idea. So that way you can see what our process is, and then if you like, hey, steal it, use it, develop your own podcast. That's what we're about. Anyway, then we have tech, right? We have mics and headphones. Jeff, we're all using the same microphones here.
Yeah, and here, we are. And I was about to say, well, yeah, sure, Father Chris, that's so easy for you to say. You just take that thing and develop it and make your own podcast. But how can I do that? I mean, it takes a little, a microphone, mixer.
It does, and that's the thing is once you have the script, it's like having the name of your band,
That's a good point. I like that.
And then you know what kind of band you have. And so then you got to...
That's the hardest part of forming a band is the name.
That's true. Kathleen has been struggling with this for years. And so, once you've got this part down, you've got the script or the rundown, then you have to figure out, okay, now how am I physically going to record all this stuff?
Yeah, and so you asked me earlier, in the station where we put the show together, and we're doing it live. We are all using the same type of microphones, but in essence, you can use even an inexpensive microphone, but get the type that is what they call unidirectional or a cardioid pattern, something that's that you have to work it fairly close because you don't want to pick it up all this ambient sound. Let's say you were doing it in your home, and the guy next door is mowing his yard. If you had like these little clip-on mics, which are omnidirectional, they pick up everything, and that makes the room sound boomy and stuff like that. So these are very tight pattern mics that we're using. They're made by Heil.
That's right.
There's many companies that make similar type microphones. Shure.
Right. And they make them all really kind of nowadays because everybody's getting into the individual podcaster, broadcaster kind of market. They make all different kinds and different price ranges. And, I wouldn't say, and Father, correct me if I'm wrong, I wouldn't say that you have to have the most expensive, but I also wouldn't say that you can just go to Walmart or the big box store and get a $9 microphone. You might want to invest a little bit in a microphone, because we've tried the $9 route before. Yeah. Father Ryan might be frozen. There he is. Yeah, we're having some Skype issues. See, even when you have a professional show, sometimes the tech doesn't always work out with you. We also have an audio board now on the Catholic Underground. We have gone through several audio boards. We initially started with a software audio board, so one that was on the computer, and so we had all of the stuff, all the different microphones and everything coming into the computer, and that didn't make for easy editing. And so from there, we bought a little Alesis Multimix. Alesis is a soundboard company. And that had a USB interface. It was actually one of the very first audio mixers to have a USB interface. And for those of you who may not know what a USB is, it's a universal serial bus that plugs into almost any computer. And so it was able then to allow the audio that we were taking in with the microphones and put them into the computer and then have the computer record. And so that was kind of a big deal. Now we've moved a little bit past that because as you know, we are presently at the Catholic Community Radio Studios here in Baton Rouge, and that's how we come to you. And in fact, you can kind of see if you're watching I apologize to the audio listeners, all of you who are listening to us on radio, because you can't see, but you can go later to CatholicUnderground.com and see. You can see a little hint of Jeff's soundboard. It's this big board that he sits in front of, and he's got all of the inputs. And he is in charge of our sound levels and everything. And can I just say it's great to have a guy doing that?
Oh, well,
that used to be me.
That's true. And I've watched you on some of the older podcasts, multitasking.
Yeah.
But this is a broadcast console here. But the Alesis that you were speaking of earlier, it really doesn't take a big mixer. The only thing that you really need to be aware of is if you're bringing in some external sources, and we can talk about mix minus later, but you kind of have to have an audio console that's capable of sending, like a mix minus the person that you're trying to bring in, like a phone call, for example. You don't want to send them back to themselves, or with Skype. Let's see, is Father Ryan back with us? Say hello.
Yes,
Father.
he is.
Yeah, good. Okay, good. We had to drop and reconnect. So here we are live, and we're bringing him via Skype, but there was a technical issue, and sometimes you just, drop it and then recall, and it works itself out.
The technical issue was actually scripted, so you could see how that was done.
Exactly.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. And then, of course, we began as an audio podcast, but we then branched out into video. And there have been, I can't even talk about all the different versions of video editing that we've done. But right now, what we're doing works pretty well. We have some kind of quasi-professional lights here. They're kind of on the cheap end, but they provide a soft light. So if you're watching us on the video feed, you see that it doesn't look like we're sitting in a cave, but at the same time, the lighting that's on us isn't harsh. Yeah. And so that's part of TV magic, folks. There's like a little a sheen, like a sheet that's kind of translucent over these corkscrew lights, and so it makes the light soft as it falls on our faces.
Is that a diffuser? Or
it is a diffuser, I believe, is what it's called.
I'm an audio guy. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And then behind me, actually, we have a backdrop. Again, for all of you on radio, this is a beautiful blue backdrop. This particular model is hand-painted by yours truly.
Yeah. Yes.
And we have a couple of other little accoutrements that we've collected over the years to make a video podcast watchable. Because while on YouTube, a lot of folks are getting by with just, showing you whatever's going on in their bedroom or in their kitchen or whatever. We're kind of going for a little bit more of a stage type of situation, But really, for you who are kind of maybe foraying into the digital continent, who knows? Your kitchen may be just fine. It may work for you. And then, of course, we have cameras. The cameras may seem rather pricey, but these are little. I believe if you get them if you find them on sale. These are like $180 cameras. Yeah. So we've collected them over time. That's also why we only have 3. so we got Jeff, we got Kathleen, we got myself. But anybody else? Yeah.
You're on your own.
You're on your own. Bring your own camera.
Left to the imagination.
BYOC. Ooh. And then for the video mixer, we've done some software type of options. There are a couple of free options. One that comes to mind that we used for a while is called Cam Twist. And you bring all of your video and audio sources into your computer. And it's a free switching utility where you can switch the cameras. There's a lot of workability with it, a lot of usability. But for us, again, we were trying to go for something that was a little cleaner, and so we actually use a Blackmagic, not actually Blackmagic, but the brand is Blackmagic, and it's called the Blackmagic ATEM Switcher 1ME, one multimedia editor. And so that allows us to bring all of our cameras in. Whenever we show you a computer shot, we bring our computer shot in. And so everything is mixed and sent out to you. And you know what we might do on one of these days is actually a little behind-the-scenes video of what it looks like from our end. Because right now, if you're watching us or you're listening to us, you hear and see the finished product more or less. But right. there are a lot of cables running around here.
Oh, they are.
Quite a few.
Yeah, running across the floor.
Yep. And then, of course, we've started live streaming.
Right. That's been something that's been a big part of what we're trying to get done and trying to make happen.
Yeah. And thanks to you who have helped us with your prayers and also your financial donations, we've been able to do the audio streaming and the video streaming. And through the benevolence of Catholic Community Radio, we actually now go live out on the radio in Baton Rouge, and in New Orleans and Houma and along the Gulf Coast. So if you're getting to Pensacola, good on you. It means you're probably taking a late vacation. We're happy about that. And then, of course, Father Ryan, because he's all the way up North Louisiana, comes to us over Skype.
Right, and that's something that's grown so much since we started this project. Skype was originally really tough. It was a low-quality feed. There wasn't really anything you could do with it, and it had all these weird settings like it adjusted your volume control, and it used to be, ungodly. And now Skype has become such a high-end pro product that it's turnkey. You know, we have a whole computer dedicated to grabbing the Skype signal and putting it into the soundboard, but beyond that, we have to do very, very little, remarkably little, to make a really high-def feed come from here, from my computer, into the computer at the studio. And you really can't be estimated how difficult that used to be and how easy Skype makes it to do a super high-quality product.
That's true. In fact, Skype knows this about itself, and so they actually have something called Skype TX, which is their enterprise solution for actual broadcasters. They know people are using Skype, in major news organizations, and so they're beginning to capitalize on that as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm just thankful that the free version of Skype that we use for audio and video doesn't overlay ads, because, how would you like being able to talk to Father Ryan, and all of a sudden you get an ad for, for the dog food that you ordered online a little bit earlier,
Right.
So, yeah. And so, again, back to the broadcast. So we have all the tech here, all the hardware. And then, as Father said, we go down our rundown, and it's scripted by bullet points, but it's also spontaneous, allows us to kind of go off script and to talk like we're doing right now. And then Father Ryan, as best as he can, tries to assign topics to the panelists so that we'll have a chance to research something on our own and then be able to talk about it with at least a little bit of facility. At least that's the idea. Yeah. Sometimes, Kathleen comes in, she goes, What's mine?
It was mighty quiet.
Sometimes. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, so that's how that works.
Yeah.
See, we haven't assigned this to anybody. That's why.
Well, that's true, and we're kind of waiting to see who's going to pick it up and run with the ball.
That's right. So anyway, after these awkward moments, the topics are assigned to panelists. I then segue, and then I introduce the topic, as you know, and then the panelist fills in some detail, and then we discuss. We'll do that a little bit later in the show, so you'll see how that works.
Mm-hmm. One thing you have not mentioned is your little magic box over there. Your because now Father Chris kind of has all the sound effects and everything put together, and he hits those cues whenever he feels like it. And I better be paying attention.
That's true. You better. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So yeah, that's how that works.
Anyway, I interrupted you.
No, that's okay, and that's actually a fairly recent addition to be able to do that.
Yeah,
So this is a good segue to Father Ryan and myself. We watch the clock, and so I have our show clock here that tells me where we are on the radio because we do go live out on the radio, and then I'm keeping an eye on where we are in our discussion using just my computer clock here.
Yeah.
And so then if something's running long or a little short, Father Ryan will then use Google Docs and let me know, okay, stop talking about this and move on to the next.
But also, might I interject?
Yeah.
Because while they're doing all that, they are in and out of the chat room all the time talking to those people who are, sending little messages and notes. And I still don't know how that works.
Oh, well, that's maybe it's a gift of holy orders, that ability to bilocate digitally. Digital bilocation.
I like that.
I don't know, because Kathleen's pretty good at it too, so I can't say that it's holy orders.
I mean,
maybe it's baptism. It's just an extension of baptism or confirmation.
Yeah.
I don't remember that being one of the original gifts of the Spirit.
No.
Being able to communicate.
It's not, no.
Oh, okay. Phew, well.
But it's part of working in the digital continent. You just kind of learn how to do it, or you have a nervous breakdown.
That's right. Or a little bit of both. And then at a fixed time,
I try to have a good nervous breakdown once a week.
Yeah, at least
weekly.
And then around 45 minutes after the hour, we cut to the picks of the week, and then we segue from that into the end of the show stuff. That's a basic broadcast for us. And then we post-produce. This is the stuff that you don't ever see, but you are the recipient of. Jeff records the audio. We have a little digital audio recorder that's fairly new to the Catholic Underground family.
That's right. In fact, because of that, we're able to, because used to I'd have to wait for Father Chris to put the audio in Dropbox, which I would download at my office and then kind of take care of the post-sweetening and leveling and all that stuff, and then upload it, which he'll talk about in a minute. But now, because we have the ability to record that, it was a distribution amp that we were needing because we've got there's so many things going on all at once.
Yeah.
You've got the video feed that's going live, but you're also recording at the same time, and that requires audio. We're doing the podcast audio live. We're also recording it so we can,
distribute it later.
Yeah. So there's many things going on. So because of the DA, the distribution amp, and the recorder, we can actually turn it around within minutes after the show now.
That's right.
It's pretty cool.
Just like the pros. In the chat room, William's wondering, how many inputs can Jeff's board handle?
Well, this is a 15-input console. But if you really get technical about it, because each input is an A-B input, so it would do technically 30, but you can only use 15 at once.
Yeah.
But it's the outputting that where the broadcast console really comes in. Neat, because you can assign each of these outputs to go one of three different ways. So that's a good question.
Yeah. So wherever you need it, the audio can go. In fact, we are sending audio all over so that it can be streamed, so that it can be recorded, so that it can go to the transmitter or the radio transmitter.
Yep.
Really amazing stuff. And then the video mix actually gets recorded. Another little new member of the family, thanks to you who are supporting the Catholic Underground. We record to a little thing called an Atomos Ninja. And it is a solid-state recorder. It's basically a hard drive that shoves in the back of a screen, and then you press on the touch screen record, and it records it.
It is a
in
cool box.
Apple ProTime ProRes 422. And then at the end of the show, as I'm getting ready to walk out the door, I pull a little hard drive out, take it to my workshop, my dear, and I edit it there, and I bring it back here. No, I take it, and I put it into the Mac Pro at Rectory Prime. and I edit the show. Usually, I'll have it. I'll dump everything in on Sunday evening, and then on Monday morning after my 8 a.m. mass, I'll enjoy my cup of coffee and edit the show and try to get the show to you anywhere between Monday, sometimes Tuesday. And then from there, a 16 by 9 high definition version of that goes to Vimeo, to YouTube, and then a standard definition version of that goes to our local Catholic cable channel, and it airs on Catholic Life Television in the Diocese of Baton Rouge. It's also distributed on Liberated Syndication. Those are the ones who handle our audio podcast, and we've actually, as of this week, submitted a video version, a standard definition video version of our podcast. So hopefully within the week, if iTunes does its thing, you'll be able to subscribe to our video podcast using iTunes or whatever flavor of podcast or podcatcher you use.
How nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
You can also play the video and the audio at CatholicUnderground.com. It goes out to YouTube, as I said, to Vimeo. I haven't sent anything to Gloria.tv in a while, but mainly because I just haven't reintegrated into my workflow, but that's another kind of Catholic YouTube thing. And then, of course, it goes out over terrestrial radio. It's replayed throughout the week, and it's syndicated on Catholic Life Television and I believe to St. Michael Broadcasting. Hey guys, in the Diocese of St. Paul, Minneapolis.
Yay!
So, that's how we do what we do. It's weird to talk about.
It is
because I mean we're not only peeling back the curtain here for you to see what's happening in Oz, the Great and Powerful's laboratory, but there's a lot that goes into being able to provide this to you. And you know what, my brothers and sisters? We wouldn't have it any other way. Alrighty, you are listening to the Catholic Underground. We are online at CatholicUnderground.tv. I am Father Chris Decker. Father Ryan Humphreys joins us on Skype from the Diocese of Alexandria and his church there, the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in historic Natchitoches. And Jeff Blackwell is in the audio room. Kathleen Lee is sitting right here. And, of course, Ed is on the ball with our video direction in the video cave. Our picks of the week are coming up in a little bit. But first, one of the best ways to follow the one true God is to learn about him. This is why you have to go to catechism as a kid. And this is why your catechism, Kathleen, doesn't end whenever you are confirmed, right?
That's true.
It doesn't end.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And so we are obligated by virtue of our baptism to continue our education. Mm-hmm. And for some, if they can squeak out the time, that means going back to school. And so the Angelicum Academy, and no, not that Angelicum. You might be thinking of the Angelicum in Rome. I know that's probably what Jeff was thinking of. But
it's a natural to me.
Yeah, I mean, you think Angelicum, you think, oh yeah, right, Dominican School, Rome. The Angelicum Academy has partnered with Father Fessio at Ignatius Press to offer an online accredited degree course in the liberal arts. Now, we should preface this by saying the reason that Father Ryan and I are so dangerous is that we have degrees in the liberal arts. Do you have a liberal arts degree as well, Kathleen?
I have a theology degree. Yeah.
Theology, it's a math degree, M-A-T-H, Master's in Theology.
No, it's not. I don't have a master's, I just have a bachelor's.
It's a bachelor's in theology? Okay, so Father Ryan and I have a bachelor's in the liberal arts, which is like having a Swiss Army knife. So can you imagine, Father Ryan, your average Pinteresting mom or dad these days, hey, it's 2014, getting a liberal arts degree online?
I can't imagine a guy using Pinterest, but I can imagine those people getting degrees online, and I think it'd be a great thing.
Yeah, and so the Angelicum Academy, they are, we should say, a homeschooling group. They provide courses for those who homeschool, but they have also started this degreed course in the liberal arts. That's a college course. It's not free, and Father, I suppose we could say it's not easy, right?
Yeah, I mean, what they're talking about is serious college-accredited courses in history, literature, the great readings, the great classics of Western culture. So this is a serious curriculum. This isn't something you do, when you have an extra 2 hours once a week. This is the kind of thing that's going to take real energy and effort, probably 5 to 10 hours of work every week, and you're going to pay for it certainly not what you'd pay at a real college campus, but you're going to pay probably a hefty sum. So if you're going to do this, it's going to be a serious investment. But I'm really hopeful this is a lot better than what I did with John Paul II Academy.
Yeah,
because I paid the same fees that on-campus student paid, and I got a much less than real graduate level course. So, I mean, I'm really hoping this is something better.
Yeah, and of course, it's worth saying that John Paul II University, or John Paul the Great University, has been maybe a little ahead of its time in offering some of these courses, and so I don't know what they're doing now, but they seem to be kind of pushing a little bit more their online programming, and so it's possible that they're like everybody else, they're kind of getting with it and really getting the gears moving, you know. But let's take a look really quick at the theology courses. There are 4 theology courses. With this: fundamental theology, revelation, and Christology. It's a 3-credit hour. It involves the careful reading of C.S. Lewis's Miracles. It involves the Second Vatican Council's Dogmatic Constitution on Divine Revelation, DV, De Verbum. And then, of course, G.K. Chesterton's The Everlasting Man. And so you're getting a really well-rounded, sounds like, course in fundamental theology. And then also in fundamental theology, the Creed, Jesus of Nazareth, of course, which are, I was about to say Cardinal Ratzinger, Pope Benedict XVI, so the Pope Emeritus, his book series, books 1 and 2. And then, of course, a 3-credit hour course on the liturgy, which I can only imagine must be really good.
Yeah.
And that's just the fundamental theology course. And I tell you what, that's something. That's a lot to go through, Father. That's a lot to go through.
Yeah, I mean that's not an amateur hour course, and of course we study these things in graduate school. But that's going to be something that's really a lot of energy for someone who may not have a significant background in theology to find out what is Christology, how do I get my head around that, how do I understand grace in the Book of Revelation. That's the kind of thing that requires a good bit of not just reading, but time to let that soak in, thinking about it, you know, and then learning how to articulate these things. So it's a real course. This is a real good, valuable program.
And would you say, Kathleen, that studying theology is something you really do have to devote yourself to? I mean, it's not something you can kind of do. I'm kind of a coffee table theologian.
Yeah, you know, when I went to study, I went to regular college for a couple years, and then I went to study theology, and I thought, I got this. I've been a Catholic for 20-something years.
Yeah, and I've actually been living my faith.
Yeah. Not so. The first course I actually took was liturgy, and I was like,
crazy,
mind blown every day. It was something that I had to. I mean, when it talks about being serious courses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're striking oil pretty much every class because you go, that's what that means.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then you get tested on it, and you forget promptly when the oil was struck. You know. Yeah. So these courses are not free. They're not free. There are some online courses that you can take for not credit that are free, that are offered. I think John Paul the Great might offer one on fundamental Catholicism, but these are like $750 a course, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it, and these are accredited courses, so this is not the same as just going to iTunes U and listening to a lecture. This is
right, but this can count towards a degree,
right? Yeah, and you can get up to 60 hours. Assuming that the college accepts it, but I mean, it's generally accredited colleges. It's a good thing.
Yeah. So who would you think that this is for? If you had to kind of say, well, is this for your armchair theologian, or is this for somebody who is looking for a degree in theology that they can then go and perhaps get a job at the diocese or in their parish, or maybe even a degree of learning, or an institute of learning?
I think this is for people who already have. I think this is for people who already have degrees, and I think this is an opportunity for a diocese to say, this is what we need you to do in order to be, say, the director of education, or this is something that you might say a Catholic high school teacher is being asked to do as continuing ed. It's a little too expensive for armchair theologians, and it's not quite enough for an undergrad who says, I want to finish my degree off with these people. You know, so I think it's got to be seen more as a continuing ed kind of perspective than it is something that is complete and whole in itself. But it's not 100% clear whether they're planning on extending this to be a full curriculum or what the long-term goal is. Right now, though, I think it's for expanding upon people who already have some basics in their mind.
Because it's pretty hard to go back to school, and if this is kind of your first foray into learning, into the institutes of higher learning, would you maybe suggest, and Kathleen, since you're kind of the freshest one who's degreed, would you advocate maybe going to a brick and mortar school to kind of get your chops?
I did that in college. In my last semester, I took all online courses, and right now for me, if I were to go back, that's in fact, I have been looking at online programs, just because it allows me to work and my brain works that way. I did really well online. If you're not an online person, I wouldn't jump in.
Right.
Feet first.
Yeah.
I maybe take a course and see how you do, because that's a lot of responsibility. It's not, you don't have to go to class. You just have to turn stuff in. And so making the time, putting that into your schedule, and not having to go to that class is a lot of work.
Yeah, these are the things that you actually have to begin to structure your life in a different way before you make a decision like this.
Yeah.
But as you know, this is also something that we take to prayer too. Lord, are you calling me to further my education? It turns out that this is also a part of discernment. Kathleen, you had to discern whether or not the Lord was calling you to pursue a degree in theology, and whether it would be beneficial for you, not just in your professional life, but also in all those other areas, those pillars of formation as well.
Absolutely.
And so maybe the Lord is calling you to that. And so certainly you can respond to that call one way or the other, because we all have to take these things into prayer. Alrighty, you're listening to the Catholic Underground. We are your weekly Catholic guide to the digital continent. You can join us, as always, at facebook.com/Catholic Underground, twitter.com/Cath Underground. You can subscribe to us on YouTube by searching out Catholic Underground. I promise you we're there. And, of course, CatholicUnderground.tv is where you can find just about everything that we do. Well, okay, bless their hearts. The USCCB is launching a service called My USCCB, and it's one of these services that I see what they're trying to do. They're trying desperately to be present to Catholics who are looking for good resources. But the interesting things is one of the interesting things is what I call my Catholics default to cheese principle, and so I have to say, so far. My USCCB hasn't quite reached its instrument yet. Now, I should caveat that by saying I have not subscribed to it, so I don't know past the user sign in what's happening on the other end of it. But it's just one of those things where it seems a little so far outdated. And the service itself costs $12 a month. So that's what you're paying, $12 a month, and it consists of basically kind of a closed social network. So you can chat with other people and interact with other people inside the My USCCB parenthesis. It consists of some undefined resources. Now I'm not sure what those are again, because I haven't gone past the paywall. And then of course you can view those and you can print those, but you can't reformat them or incorporate them into other products or use them as part of a class. In fact, the USCCB does, in fact, have a good PDF talking about what all this stuff is. And some of the things that they say that you can do is you can download and view the material on any device. So presumably it's friendly for your mobile or for your laptop or for a desktop. You can print it in whole or in part and distribute it without charging your parish, your diocesan office, your school or institution, which is actually a very good thing, actually. And then you can include brief excerpts in your bulletin or your newsletter and things like that. But there are a lot of thou shalt nots to it. And in kind of the world in which we live, this diversified, make information freely available, that's a little problematic, I find, and I think this is kind of what we've talked about in the past with stuff from the USCCB website and some of their publications, where it's so kind of locked down, that it's really difficult to get to, you know. And so there are also video webinars. And again, you know, the effort so far is a good A for effort, but it hasn't quite found its instrument yet. Now, I will say it looks like they have a lot of the hardware resources in place. You know, so these videos are obviously being live switched. They're using Skype to chat with bishops and things like that. But they're maybe not quite there yet. And of course, this is me. I'm Father Chris Decker, non-professional, you know, talking. So interestingly enough, you can kind of see how people are voting on this by seeing how much coverage it has in the Catholic blogosphere. So far.
Tell us.
Not much.
Yeah, you've been real cautious there. I've noticed that you kind of tiptoeing.
I am being very cautious because, well, let's talk about what we did in 2006 versus right now.
Exactly. Yeah.
Whenever the Catholic Underground launched in 2006, people would have said, you know, it's a good effort, but I don't think so. You know, and just because the USCCB, I can't say these are not all of the bishops. This is the corporation, you know, the corporation that is the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. These are all their folks in the social media office and the communications office. This is their initiative that's backed by the bishops. Certainly, they're trying to launch into this space, and so I guess Father Ryan, if are you with us there, Father?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah,
and I agree. We do.
Are we happy that they're trying?
Yeah, you know, it's hard to say we're happy they're trying because the difference between what Catholic Underground was doing back in 2006 and what's happening now is that we were at the very bleeding edge of what the tech could do.
Yeah,
and so you know there was a certain amount of we can't do a better product because the tech is not there yet. Whereas this product, again, and it's a good effort, it's a good intention, is at least 10 years behind the bleeding edge. So even the phrase "my USCCB" harkens back to MySpace, and it harkens back to my dot. Insert your website here, and it was a valiant effort. But the idea of a closed social network, the idea of making kind of hour-long webinars, you know, what hurts me and what makes me upset is. Well, the thing I've always pressed in Catholic Underground is that we should always use the resources that we really are good at. You know, and with Catholic Underground, that is the personality and the fun and the quirky and the tech. And when we've gotten further away from that, it's gone badly for us.
Yeah.
And what the USCCB has is bishops.
Yeah.
It's got access to the teachers of the church. It's got access to all these documents, and it's got the copyrights, which it holds on to very, very tightly. And rather than use those natural gifts, they've kind of basically said, let's just ignore all those things and go out and grab stuff that's freely available elsewhere and then stick it behind a paywall. And, you know, I don't know who they're trying to reach out to, but it feels like they're just trying to do something to do something.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't want to say that it's individual bishops again, because it's not. It's this organization. But it feels like this is a progress that's been in the works for half a decade. And even then, it started half a decade behind schedule.
Yeah.
You know, and
well, you know,
I'm not impressed.
I think about the Catholic Television Network of America, the CTNA, that was the U.S. Bishops' Conference desire to have a Catholic television network that was distributed via satellite to all the dioceses and parishes in the United States. And that was a very kind of limited way of looking at what satellite communications could do. But it wasn't unconventional. It was basically what everybody thought that satellite TV was for, right? Was not just to beam into everybody's home, but to beam into certain people's homes who had the equipment and perhaps the money to fork over for a subscription to that satellite transponder to pay for it. And this almost seems a little bit like that because the CTNA was a very closed system. And we saw with EWTN and now other Catholic networks that have come to the fore that kind of closed system just doesn't work. It doesn't really work. And we see with the expansion of social networks that a closed social network really can't bring a whole lot of, I hate to use the word fruit, but it can't bring a whole lot of life, you know. And so there are some good things here. like I say, I would give them the A for effort, certainly, because I am happy that they're trying. But I get the sense that it's well, you're supposed to be on the digital continent, so we're on the digital continent. You know, it's a little plastic, as you say, Father. Whenever you get away from what your natural gifts are, sometimes you begin to kind of reach a little too far. You know, and if it's just a pay for printing of the online liturgy planning guide, well, I would say OCP's liturgy.com is cheaper. It's $10.75 a month. That's $129 a year. But it allows you to print all of the liturgy planning stuff, the collects and the readings and things that you need. So again, I'm willing to give it. I'm willing to give it at least a look here, because the bishops do have an important voice, and we get hints of the courage of the bishops in their own newspapers and local affiliate TV coverage. But it would seem to me that my USCCB could be the venue for them to shine. You know, this could be the bishop broadcasting system, so that they can get the word out, right? The gospel, and it's difficult with priests, to be sure. And I know it's probably got to be difficult with bishops all over the U.S. too, but the gospel we have to proclaim with one voice. We do. And this is perhaps the launch into that. So I give you an A for effort in my USCCB. I look forward to seeing where we can go in the future. All right. Before we go to our picks of the week, we do have a word from our chief shepherd, Pope Francis, about the situation in the Middle East. And this is a quote from him. The news coming from Iraq leaves us in disbelief and dismay. Thousands of people, including many Christians, brutally driven from their homes. Children dead from thirst and hunger during their escape. Women who are abducted, people slaughtered, violence of every kind. Destruction everywhere, destruction of homes, destruction of religious, historical, and cultural patrimonies. All this greatly offends God and greatly offends humanity. You cannot bring hatred in the name of God. You cannot make war in the name of God. And those are the words from Pope Francis, our Rome correspondent for the Catholic Underground. I don't know if I can say that anyway.
I think you just did.
I just did.
And that's okay.
But the Holy Father is speaking about this. I was watching some secular television this past week, and they were saying, I can't believe the Pope isn't talking about it. Mm-hmm. You haven't been watching the Angelus. You haven't been listening. He has been speaking about this, and I do believe a man by the name of Cardinal Joseph Ratzinger, as Benedict XVI, was speaking about this. And there was a man named, I think we call him now St. John Paul II, who was speaking about this as well. And this is something that is real, and it is becoming all too apparent. And so we, my brothers and sisters, you fellow undergrounders, we have to pray, because right now that's the only weapon that we've got. And it's a weapon of peace, and not a weapon that is a physical sword. And so, brothers and sisters, join me in praying for peace in Iraq and Syria, for peace in Israel and Jordan, for peace in our own country, because the peace that we pray for doesn't become a reality until hearts are converted to Jesus Christ, because there is no other name by which we can be saved, and that is the gospel truth. Now is the time that we like to go to, and we call it
the CU Pick of the Week.
Alrighty, we have been all over the map for this episode, but it's okay. We're gonna move kind of quickly through our CU Picks of the Week, and so I don't know, Kathleen.
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, okay, I've been noticing some things for a couple years in women who come to Mass, and one of the things that I am noticing this beautiful trend is the, I guess, resurrection of the chapel veil, or the mantilla, which they also call it.
Yep.
And before Vatican II, it was required for women to wear chapel veils or mantillas to Mass. And so my pick of the week is it's an online store. It's called Veils by Lily, and it's got beautiful veils that you can buy, and they're like $40. And it talks, and this is also a double doozy, because I've been researching why women were to wear veils.
Yeah.
And there is a blog called Mantilla with Me. It's awesome. mantillawithme.blogspot.com, and it does a lot of pictures of women wearing chapel veils. You know, a lot of women who visit the Pope
and then some reasons why.
Yeah. And so I'm just going to read very shortly, not the whole quote, but it has in here, it says, "The wearing of the mantilla is an act of veiling a woman's physical beauty, so that the beauty of God may be glorified instead. It is also a way of emulating Mary, our mother, who is the archetype of purity, and humility. Moreover, the mantilla or chapel veil signifies the role of women as a life-bearing vessel. So it's just very interesting, this beauty that is the veil. And we wear them in our wedding,
or our first communion.
Right, or our first communion. And so why not wear them to Mass? And so it's not something that I am practicing, but I'm very, very interested, and I've been looking at it. So Veils by Lily and Mantilla with me.
And it's good, as you say, Kathleen, even in something that you're not doing at the moment, to be able to inform yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes we will do things because of the nostalgia or because we like the look, but it's very advantageous for we as Catholics to learn about the traditions that have kind of maybe passed into disuse.
Yeah.
And to see why that happened, should it have happened, and then maybe is there something that I can do to educate myself, and then maybe to resurrect it.
Yeah.
You know, and I know, Father Ryan, that you've perhaps seen that in your own parish.
I have. I mentioned it at Epiphany time, just as an offhanded thing in the bulletin, and I now have about 10 or 12 ladies who have started wearing their veils, and it's just such a beautiful thing. Incidentally, do you know the only woman who has the right to wear a white veil in the presence of the Pope, according to the old rules of chivalry? There's one woman on the planet who can have a white veil.
Is it the Queen?
Of which country?
Would it be a Catholic country, a presently Catholic country?
Yes.
Monaco?
Spain.
Spain.
La Reina is the only one who is allowed to wear a white veil. It was given years and years and years ago, I think the 16th century, as a privilege only to that nation. Just a neat little quirky...
To the Spanish monarch.
Yeah, to La Reina.
Very interesting. Well, we go to our local Spanish monarch, Jeff Blackwell, for his pick of the week.
Si, senor.
Blackwell, yeah.
Oh, my pick of the week, this is August 10th, and this Sunday is a Super Sunday. It's going to sound like a commercial, but this is tonight is the night of the supermoon, and it is a peak full moon. And this one particularly this year, we've had, or will have 5 this year. We have one coming in September as well. But it's going to be the brightest, and it's also called the sturgeon moon, the green corn moon, and the grain moon. But NASA says the full moon tonight will be 14% closer and 30% brighter than a usual full moon. So if you live in an area where you can actually, I saw some pictures from last night where even cloud cover, the moon, the brightness was able to punch through the clouds. So
it was bright. The moon was bright last night.
Yeah, take a look tonight if you're, especially in an area where you can see it. Moonrise is going to be just incredible. And then be looking for photography. There's some great sites for photography all over the internet, and some beautiful pictures, that is, of the moon. I've got a link if you want to check it out for viewing tonight.
That's right.
That's my pick of the week.
And my pick of the week is a book that I've been enjoying. In fact, I'm not all the way through it. In fact, I'm barely through the beginning of the first chapter of it. It's thick like a good mushroom soup, and it's called "Dangers to the Faith: Recognizing Catholicism's 21st Century Opponents" by Al Cresta. For those of you who listen to us on the radio, you may be familiar with Al Cresta in the afternoon, who is a tremendous apologist on Catholic radio. He's actually he's the head guy over at Ave Maria Radio, and this is a very comprehensive book on right now the present dangers of to the Catholic faith. Part 1 talks about abusers of spirituality and revelation. Part 2 is abusers of science and reason. Part 3 is abusers of the past and the future. Part 4 is abusers of power and wealth. And he uses all of those definitions to talk about some of the isms, if you will, that present a danger to our Catholic faith. And I think a book like this is becoming increasingly more important for us because the world in which we live is becoming increasingly more difficult to reason with. And so any more that we can learn to try and reason with the reason that is left, in a kind of a declining culture, is really important. And so far, what I've read, very good. He starts off, just to give you a little hint, a little teaser, he starts off talking about New Age to the self-styled spirituality of Oprah. And if you know me, then you know that I like talking a lot about the kind of the fopra, if you will, or popra, as some call her. Anyway, so that's my pick of the week. You can find that on our show notes. You can go to CatholicUnderground.com, and whenever the episode is up and published, you'll be able to go to our show notes and to get all the things that we've talked about. That's at CatholicUnderground.com, and you'll click on the latest link there. Alrighty, Jeff, we have some good friends here. Who,
we do. But did Father Ryan have a pick of the week?
Oh, did I skip you, Father? I did.
That's okay.
What you got? Sorry.
Amazon has an incredible service called Smile.Amazon.com.
Oh, yeah.
And they will give a portion of everything that you buy to a charity. And in fact, people like the Minor Basilica of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin Mary can be the beneficiary of this. You go to smile.amazon.com and it remembers who you've chosen, and then everything you buy, it's like having a code built in. And in fact, they'll remind you to go there once you've set it up on your account. When you go to Amazon.com, they'll say, "You're sure you don't want to do this at smile.amazon.com?" Right now, I'm signed up to support the Knights of Columbus International. But it is a spectacular thing. It's very easy. It's also very free, and it's a good way to make sure that you're supporting some charity. And so smile.amazon.com. Easy as that.
I use that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
The Catholic Underground isn't there yet. But I'm
It
talking.
will be.
I'll talk with the CEO this week. Yeah. Sorry, Father. It's one of those things where it was so short. Smile.amazon.com. I didn't think there was anything there. So
I don't blame you. But I will.
It's okay. I'm used to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now we have some special people to mention, Jeff.
Yes, portions of the Catholic Underground are brought to you by audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground. That's audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground.
That's right. And this week, Catholic Underground is possible because of people like Christopher and Matthew. Join the growing number of undergrounders at CatholicUnderground.com/donate. If you want the show notes that accompany this episode, you can go to CatholicUnderground.com and find out all the ways to connect with us on social media. Father Ryan's Church is online at minorbasilica.org. He's at FR Humphreys on Twitter. Thank you, Father Ryan, for your presence.
It's been my privilege.
He's a conehead. Also, Jeff Blackwell, he's a tech director of the CU. He's the ruling despot. He's ruling Decker. No, that's me. He's the ruling despot at Blackwell Communications Group, jeffblackwell.us, and at Jeff Blackwellis. Thank you, Jeff.
It's a privilege.
Kathleen Lee is our faith ninja at Kathleen YABR. Thank you, Kathleen.
Anytime.
Also, Ed Ball, he's on the, Ball with our video feed this week. He also sings the songs from Frozen in the voice of Space Ghost, if you can imagine that. And of course, you know me. I am Father Chris Decker. You can follow me online at Digital Catholic on Twitter. You can join us on the interwebs at CatholicUnderground.tv for everything that happens from the Catholic Underground. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us on the digital continent. We are Catholic Underground. We are Faith Gone Digital, and we will see you next time.
From the Catholic Underground.
I'm Father Byron Miller, Director of the National Shrine of Blessed